These are your daily baseball matchups for August 9th, 2020. Right off the bat, just a little note. The two games for Philly and Braves today are 7 innings. There's no hitters I advise in that first game. In the Mets game, I would advise to pick up Jacob deGrom, even though he is $11,000. I would pick up Jacob deGrom versus the Marlins, and I would freaking put some money on a no-hitter. He's due to get a no-hitter eventually, right? I would stack Conforto, J.D. Davis, and Amed Rosario. I think the fact that all of these hitters are less than $3,800 is crazy. I think they're obvious pickups today. They all have an OPS above 1,000 versus Pablo Lopez. So Conforto, J.D. Davis, Amed Rosario. There are no hitters I like in Miami today. Maybe John Birdie at 3,900, who for some reason seems to see deGrom well. But there's no power potential there, so I don't really think that's a good play. Yandy Diaz is the only guy I would advise to pick up versus James Paxton today. Brett Gardner would be my pickup for the Yankees versus Charlie Morton, going at 3,600 with 3 home runs in 22 plate appearances. That gives him a career 1,400 OPS versus Charlie Morton. And he's going $1,000 less than LeMahieu, who has 0 home runs against Charlie Morton in his career in similar amount of at-bats. So Gardner's a great play. Blue Jays at Red Sox. From a betting perspective, I really like the Blue Jays in this game. I'm pretty sure they're the underdog at plus 130. So Blue Jays aren't a bad play. When it comes to our lineup, Mitch Moreland is not a bad option. I think his price makes him not the best option because 2 home runs and 10 plate appearances, but $4,300, you got to pay the price. No one else I really like from a value perspective in that lineup. No one else I like from a value perspective either in this Blue Jays lineup, except for Danny Jansen at catcher. Now, Spencer Turnbull of the Tigers versus Pittsburgh. I like Turnbull from the streaming option at $8,000. But if you don't have faith in Turnbull, I would definitely pick up Colin Moran, who's been hot and is only $3,200. There are no hitters I would advise to pick up on Detroit versus Pittsburgh. There's not really any history with Steven Brault versus them, so we don't really know. Maybe Jacoby Jones isn't a bad pickup. He's been hot, but there's no data to draw any conclusions from. Now, I think the best value first baseman today is Ryan O'Hearn, the lefty, versus the righty Jose Barrios. O'Hearn's going for $2,700, and in 15 plate appearances, he has 2 home runs and a 1,600 OPS with a .533 on-base percentage versus Jose Barrios. Ryan O'Hearn for the Royals today. Now, Brewers versus the Reds with Sonny Gray on the mound. I don't like any of these Brewers hitters today, and I'll leave it at that. The Reds hitters, they're versing the righty Brandon Woodruff. I think the lefty catcher Tucker Barnhart at $3,000 is a good play, and I think the lefty hitter Jesse Winker is a good play at $3,600. Anything less than $3,800 with a hitter that can give you a home run and that walks like Jesse Winker and Conforto and Davis, I think are easy plays, especially when it's a lefty like Conforto going against a righty or a lefty like Winker going against a righty. Now a lefty versus lefty in Heaney versus Willie Calhoun, but in 6 at-bats, Calhoun has a 1,500 OPS and a 500 on base. And Robinson Chirinos has 2 home runs and 14 plate appearances. Chirinos is $3,800, so you got to pay more of a price, but you should be banking on some hits with Chirinos today versus the lefty Heaney. Lance Lynn going against this Angels lineup is a pretty good pickup, but you got to pay the price because he's been hot, so take that chance if you will. I would not take any of the Angels hitters in this lineup. Now, even though this is one of the 7-inning games, I do think Scott Kingery at $3,300 versus the lefty Max Fried is a pretty interesting choice today. Because if you notice, Fried has 2 home runs versus Kingery has 2 home runs versus Fried in his career, and so does Harper and Realmuto. And Harper and Realmuto both have more plate appearances than Kingery. So similar OPS to them, similar home run production, but he's going at $2,000 less than Harper, and he's going basically $2,000 less than Realmuto. So Kingery's an interesting second base option today. But remember, that's a 7-inning game. Kevin Gausman going against the Dodgers. He's $5,900. No one's picking him up today. This Dodgers lineup should hit him pretty well, but you're going to have to pay the price for Mookie Betts. Corey Seager at $4,400 is a pickup for me. Justin Turner is a pickup for me. Chris Taylor I don't like too much, but if you want to save money, $3,000, go ahead and pick him up. I don't like any of these Giants hitters versus Walker Buehler. If you want to really stack pitching, go and do Buehler, DeGrom. I do think if you want to pick between DeGrom and Buehler, I would definitely pick DeGrom over Buehler because DeGrom will go deeper and Buehler is not stretched out enough yet. This Astros Athletics game is interesting. We have 2 rookie pitchers in the mound with a lot of upside, and Christian Javier for the Astros and Jesus Luzardo for the Athletics. From a betting perspective, the Astros are plus 130 last time I checked. I think that is a great bet. Anytime the Astros are ever the underdog, put money on it because they're going to win more than half their games. So how can they ever be an underdog, really? It would be like the Yankees being an underdog. I don't care who's in the mound, especially if it's a rookie like Luzardo who's going to go 5 innings, 6 innings max. Once you get to a team's bullpen, especially a team like the Astros, when they're going to hit a bullpen, it really doesn't matter. So check that game out from a betting perspective. Bumgarner versus the Padres. So Diamondbacks versus Padres. Tatis is 5,200, but he's going to hit today versus them. Will Myers, he's not going to. He has 3 home runs, but in 58 plate appearances, there's really no options in this Padres game. It seems like no one besides Tatis has ever really been able to figure it out against Bumgarner. Now, when it comes to Dilson Lamet versus this Diamondbacks lineup, for Cole Calhoun to be $4,100 is pretty insane for me to me because Castellanos was going for $4,400, I think. How is Cole Calhoun only worth $300 less? I think that's a weird value, and that just means I'm never touching Calhoun today on any roster. Just too much money. I can get Conforto and JD Davis for cheaper. Jake Lamb, if he's starting today, I like that for $2,600. The lefty versus the righty Lamet. Other than that, maybe David Peralta, but not really enough power potential in that bat. So I would say that's it for the Diamondbacks, guys. And I would say it looks like these 3 Mariners hitters have never been able to put it together against German Marquez, so you're not picking up them today. And that's it today. If you liked the video, please subscribe. Good luck. Have a good one.